The Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting, on the first day of the 2nd month, in the 2nd year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take a census of all the congregation of the sons of Israel, by families, by fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male, head by head, from 20 years old and upward, all in Israel who are able to go forth to war. You and Aaron shall number them, company by company, and there shall be with you a man from each tribe, each man being the head of the house of his fathers.
These are the names of the men who are to assist you. From Reuben, Elizur, son of Shedeur. From Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. From Judah, Nahshon, son of Amminadab. From Issachar, Nathaniel, son of Zur. From Zebulun, Eliab, son of Helon. From the sons of Joseph, from Ephraim, Elishama, son of Ammihud. From Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Pedazur. From Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideoni. From Dan, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. From Asher, Pagiel, son of Ochran. From Gad, Eliasaph, son of Duel. From Naphtali, Ahira, son of Enon.
These were the men appointed from the community, the leaders of their ancestral tribes. They were the heads of the clans of Israel.
Moses and Aaron took these men who have been named, and on the first day of the 2nd month, they assembled the whole congregation together, who registered themselves by families, by fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, head by head, as the Lord commanded Moses. So he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai. The people of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, head by head, every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Reuben was 46,500. Of the people of Simeon, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, those of them that were numbered, according to the number of names, head by head, every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Simeon was 59,300. Of the people of Gad, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Gad was 45,650. Of the people of Judah, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Judah was 74,600. Of the people of Issachar, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribes of Issachar was 54,400. Of the people of Zebulun, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Zebulun was 57,400. Of the people of Joseph, namely of the people of Ephraim, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Ephraim was 40,500. Of the people of Manasseh, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Manasseh was 32,200. Of the people of Benjamin, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Benjamin was 35,400. Of the people of Dan, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Dan was 62,700. Of the people of Asher, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Asher was 41,500. Of the people of Naphtali, their generations, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war. The number of the tribe of Naphtali was 53,400. These are those who were numbered, whom Moses and Aaron numbered with the help of the leaders of Israel, 12 men, each representing his father's house. So the whole number of the sons of Israel, by their fathers' houses, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go forth to war in Israel, their whole number was 603,550. But the Levites were not numbered by their ancestral tribe along with them. For the Lord said to Moses, "Only the tribe of Levi you shall not number, and you shall not take a census of them among the sons of Israel. But appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of the covenant, and over all its furnishings, and over all that belongs to it. They are to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings, and they shall tend it, and shall encamp around the tabernacle. When the tabernacle is to set out, the Levites shall take it down, and when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And if any one else comes near, he shall be put to death. The sons of Israel shall pitch their tents by their companies, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard. But the Levites shall encamp around the tabernacle of the covenant, that there may be no wrath upon the congregation of the sons of Israel. And the Levites shall keep charge of the tabernacle of the covenant. Thus did the sons of Israel. They did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses." To the choirmaster, a psalm of the sons of Korah. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak wisdom. The meditation of my heart shall be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will solve my riddle to the music of the lyre. Why should I fear in times of trouble, when the iniquity of my persecutors surrounds me? Men who trust in their wealth and boast of the abundance of their riches. Truly no man can ransom himself, or give to God the price of his life. For the ransom of his life is costly, and can never suffice, that he should continue to live on forever, and never see the pit. Yes, he shall see that even the wise die. The fool and the stupid alike must perish and leave their wealth to others. Their graves are their homes forever, their dwelling places to all generations, though they named lands their own. Man cannot abide in his pomp. He is like the beasts that perish. This is the fate of those who have foolish confidence, the end of those who are pleased with their portion. Selah. Like sheep, they are appointed for Sheol. Death shall be their shepherd. Straight to the grave they descend, and their form shall waste away. Sheol shall be their home. But God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. Selah. Be not afraid when one becomes rich, when the glory of his house increases. For when he dies, he will carry nothing away. His glory will not go down after him. Though while he lives, he counts himself happy, and though a man gets praise when he does well for himself, he will go to the generation of his fathers, who will never more see the light. Man cannot abide in his pomp. He is like the beasts that perish. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them, just as he was, in the boat. And other boats were with him. And a great storm of wind arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care if we perish?" And he awoke and rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you no faith?" And they were filled with awe, and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even wind and sea obey him?" They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gerasenes. And when he had come out of the boat, there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him any more, even with a chain. For he had often been bound with shackles and chains, but the chains he wrenched apart, and the shackles he broke in pieces. And no one had the strength to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs, and on the mountains, he was always crying out, and bruising himself with stones. And when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. And crying out with a loud voice, he said, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you by God, do not torment me." For he had said to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged him eagerly not to send them out of the country. Now a great herd of swine was feeding there on the hillside. And they begged him, "Send us to the swine, let us enter them." So he gave them leave. And the unclean spirits came out and entered the swine. And the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and were drowned in the sea. The herdsmen fled, and told it in the city and in the country. And people came to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Jesus, and saw the demoniac sitting there, clothed and in his right mind, the man who had had the legion, and they were afraid. And those who had seen it told what had happened to the demoniac and to the swine. And they began to beg Jesus to depart from their neighborhood. And as he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed with demons begged him that he might be with him. But he refused and said to him, "Go home to your friends, and tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." And he went away and began to proclaim in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all men marveled. In the book of Numbers, God has already brought his people out of Egypt and given them the gifts of the law and the tabernacle. Now they need to go into the promised land, so they must get organized for mobility. The census recorded here is part of that organization. According to Jewish tradition, it also hints at God's concern for every last member of his people. But the tribe-by-tribe numbering ends with a twist. The Levites are not numbered with the others. Why not? Censuses were often used to assess military capability and for tax purposes. But the Levites are entrusted with something that surpasses such human calculations, the tabernacle, where the Lord is present in Israel's midst. God, not human resourcefulness, will guide his people. This point also appears in different ways in today's psalm and gospel. Financial planning is prudent, but Scripture often warns against trusting in wealth. God alone provides true security. In Mark, Jesus chides the disciples for their understandable fear of the storm. They have not yet fully realized who is among them, the mightier one, who has power over chaos and over evil spirits. Do you trust that, with Christ at the center of your life, you need not fear in times of trouble?